I'm Megan Skidmore, and welcome to the Beyond the Shadow of Doubt. I'm a woman, daughter, sister, spouse, mother, life coach, and person of faith on a mission to normalize asking questions and allowing doubts on a faith journey and all aspects of life. Join me as I bring this traditionally taboo topic out of the shadows of shame and into the light. I firmly believe we normalize through more talking and engaging in discussion. More talking peels back, exposes, and erases the layers of shame associated with asking questions and allowing doubts. When we are more authentic about our journey, we are more powerful because shame has no power in the face of authenticity. August of 2023 marks the 1-year anniversary of Beyond the Shadow of Doubt. And simultaneously, we hit 5,000 downloads. My genuine thanks. I ask you a favor, and that is to subscribe if you have not. Share a favorite episode with a friend, and most importantly, take 2 minutes and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Help me reach my goal of 10,000 downloads by the end of 2023. I am so excited to share with you that the Love Loud Music Festival is coming to the Lone Star State. Founded in 2017 by Dan Reynolds, Love Loud is a catalyst to bring communities and families together to help ignite the vital conversation about what it means to unconditionally love our LGBTQ+ friends and family. Love Loud offers hope to people, letting them know they're not alone and encouraging acceptance in the home and community. It all begins with talking, sharing, and showing the realities of what LGBTQ+ individuals face daily. If you are in Texas and interested in volunteering along with me and some of your fellow Texans, please reach out and I will connect you with the right person. I would love to stand side by side and serve along with you. More information is on their website, which I have listed in the show notes.
But anyway, my study of a lot of that and learning from, different religious scholars really helps me just check in and think like, what if, I remember reading this book and these scholars were trying to figure out like, was Jesus like 50% man, 50% God? Like, what was it? And this woman said, this female scholar and a few other scholars basically said, well, he was 100% both. And that for me was like, oh. And from there, I remember thinking, okay, so he's 100% man, 100% God. What does that mean for me?
Wow.
And I remember thinking like, if we're here to become gods and goddesses, and then you take quantum time, quantum physics and put that into play, does that mean we're actually all already gods and goddesses? And what if we have that divine God, goddess in us right now? And what if, so what if we have that right now? What if we have that connection? And anytime we connect to ourselves, which is like what we're doing when we're healing from trauma, trauma creates a separation of self. Anytime we can be present in here and the here and now and connected to ourselves, what if when we're connected to our knowing, we're not only connected to our divine knowing, but connected to God? And so I kind of just started thinking like, what if we already are? And what if we're here to express and put our creative power into the physical realm of Earth?
I've actually had that thought before. What if the seeds, the fairy dust, whatever you want to call it, of divinity, they're already there within us?
Of course they are.
That's what I think. I mean, and how beautiful is that?
Yeah.
We're taught we're the literal offspring of deity. Yeah. So doesn't that make sense?
Yeah. Like, could you actually, like, is it even possible to like compartmentalize that and say that we're not for this like short life term, but then we suddenly back are again?
Yeah. Wow. Fascinating. I love where you're diving so much. And I have read part of the book you're referring to at your recommendation. I have a lot of books that I've started and I get halfway through. I have a pile of books.
I love it.
But I love mind broadening, heart expanding information. It's so needed. So I'm curious to know in your work, and this could prove to be useful for those that might be listening, what would religious trauma or spiritual trauma look like for them? How would they be able to recognize it either in themselves, perhaps in their immediate family members, like parents in their kids, or maybe extended family? As I work with LGBTQ plus families, sometimes the parents aren't necessarily aware that there is actual, a trauma response going on for their kiddo. So I'm just wondering if you can just give some descriptors, some, ideas of what that looks like in real life.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just because of the layer of the culture that, we grew up in, Megan, like it's so much more prevalent than we see. And so, religious trauma syndrome occurs when an individual struggles with leaving a religion or a set of beliefs that has led to their indoctrination. And so it often involves the trauma of breaking away from a controlling environment, lifestyle, or religious figure. And in some settings, the symptoms of religious trauma can be similar to that of complex PTSD. So it can be a lot. And I think, when you consider how deep so many of us are in with respect to the church and how deep some of these belief systems go, it's just the thought, we're such a relational species as humans. We are biologically, we're created to be like on a biological level. Not having connection to a community can feel like the end all be all. And so for a lot of people, just the thought of having a different thought than what you were told to think,
right?
It can just be so scary, because it's like, if that, then I could be completely ostracized. And so just that stuff can be really triggering for a lot of people. But I would say with trauma, if you're like, does my kid, does he, who knows? I think one thing you can do is kind of ask yourself, like, if they're exhibiting certain behavior, like if you can put 2 in front of the behavior, like TOO, that can sometimes help you see if there's just trauma or something to look at. Because, maybe your kid's like 4 minutes, maybe your kid's 4 minutes late to church and we blow up at him like it's going to be the end of the world, right? That would be more us maybe carrying something. But like, a lot of people exhibit fight, flight, freeze, and fawn responses at church. So a fight response to me would maybe be like, it could be kind of like an aggressive, what comes to my mind initially is like a parent that's like really aggressive and forceful about kids going to church and doing things, right? And then we can just use the excuse that we can be rude to our kids and disrespectful in the name of God, right? In the name of what's right. And so a fight response can be kind of like overly like aggressive, maybe even aggressively kind of managing or trying to control something. And again, you can kind of put that TOO in front of it. I see a lot of fawning responses in the church. So super people pleasing, think of women, or just what we're taught. Yes to every calling, all of that stuff. So when we're saying yes at the expense of ourselves, and we're afraid to say no because why, right? Or we're afraid to speak up because we don't want to be that person who thinks differently. And so much fawning all over left and right. And then freeze response for sure. A lot of people shut down, right? Like, why is everyone passing out? Not everyone, but like,
Shutting down.
Shutting down. Yeah.
Backing
Like, why do I need a 3-hour nap after church?
Yeah.
This isn't the same for everybody, but like I went through a phase where I was like, wait, why am I overtired after church? Like that was 2 hours long, but then I need like a 3-hour nap. What's happening here? Right. And so, like there's a lot of stuff happening that it just seems so normal because everyone's just swimming in the same fishbowl. But when you really scale back, it's really easy and clear to see.
So because my audience comes from varied conservative faith backgrounds, I just want to make sure and point out that these things that Lindsay is sharing with us and talking about, it's really applicable to whatever your faith background is. I've learned enough. I know enough about other faiths that some of the expectations and the deeply held beliefs and patterns and communities and the culture. I mean, it's very similar across the board.
I would say that the correlation is very similar with how demanding your religion is. So the high demand religions, the higher demand religions, you're going to see like just kind of very similar flavors of the same thing, you know, kind of across the board.
Perhaps a more animated trauma response for that from the higher demand, the higher the trauma, maybe. Not necessarily. It could just depend on the individual.
Yeah, it's pretty unique, but I see in the Mormon spheres, just because that's my experience, just so much stuff. Like people who come out of religion, Megan, to me are just some of the most under-supported humans that have grown up in these quote unquote like privileged white Christian communities, right?
Yeah.
And so the more we can understand privilege and oppression and different intersectionality points and be open to that, we can really choose to see where we're all privileged and where we're all potentially oppressed, so that we can really just take care of each other and receive each other regardless of where we stand, based on this line of in a religion or out of a religion that was made up by humans.
So I know I've kept you for a while, but there's just two more questions I would really like to bring up. And one is, you talked about parents, you know, when I was asking you about the trauma, what it looks like, you know, parents sometimes aren't able or don't see that it's occurring with their own children. So you talked about these deeply ingrained beliefs. And I think because they are deeply ingrained, sometimes the awareness isn't there. So what advice would you offer for parents in how they can support their kiddos, even if they don't necessarily see what their child is describing to them or saying to them is going on or happening, or even if they don't understand it, right?
Yeah.
What words of advice and caution would you offer to these parents in how to support their kiddos, even if they don't agree or don't understand or don't see what their kiddo is seeing?
That's such a great question. Because the thing is a lot of times, like, especially as kids, because if we don't have the contextual layer of understanding around trauma, how do we explain injustices that we're experiencing or witnessing at church if we haven't even been taught that there's potential for that, right? So a lot of times a kid might come home angry or pissed off at church and they don't even know why, right? And so I would say something like a big thing is just to like let our kids know and let ourselves know that, you know, our emotions are real and valid, and it's okay to feel like there's a reason we're feeling what we're feeling, and that's okay. And we can teach our kids how to feel and express emotions while being respectful, right? And again, like if your kid needs to vent about something that they saw about church or something they learned about church because it affects their friend at school and they care about that friend, if venting that with you, and if you think that's disrespectful, or if you don't know how to hold space for a kid just like barreling that out, like you can help them find a place to vent or let things out, right? Because we have these feelings, we need to learn how to express and share, and there's a way to do that appropriately. There's a way to have these healthy sympathetic responses. There's a way to healthily you know, express and transmute our anger, right? And our anger is there for a reason. And so if we could start seeing these emotions as something to listen to and to honor and to learn from and to validate and appreciate, it would be so different. And if you're like, I have no idea how to do that for my kid, then you can just find a place for your kid to be able to share and express, because they're feeling something, they're feeling for a reason. And
it's not just going to go away.
No, it's just like food. Like if our, you know, if we're putting a bunch of Diet Coke in our body, like our body doesn't know what to do with it. And but I'm not trying to villainize Diet Coke, FYI, but like I'm just giving an example of like something that's like not something that's man-made. Like our body doesn't know what to do with it, it's like, oh, well, we'll just kind of like stick it here, right? I'll just stick it here, stick that there. Someone told me gum stays in your stomach lining for 7 years. I don't know if that's true, but maybe it stays in there a little bit longer, right? Like longer than regular food. And so with emotions, it's the same. If we don't know how to metabolize our emotions, they get stuck, they get stored, they affect us physically. People with a lot of trauma, like, mental health wards, they walk differently. They're oddly uncoordinated. So this stuff, learning how to process and feel emotions, it benefits our physical health. It is our physical health.
Wow, that's such a great way to explain it. I love that visual. I lied. I could ask you more questions, but I will just ask you one more. And it's the question I like to kind of wrap up with. What does it mean to you to live beyond the shadow of doubt?
Beyond the shadow of a doubt. I mean,
drop the A, just beyond the shadow of doubt.
Beyond the shadow of doubt. What comes to my mind, Megan, is just being open to the human experience of uncertainty and being open to live a full, complete, alive human experience. Willing, we're just talking about emotions, willing and capable, developing out the capacity to feel the breadth of the human experience that we're meant to feel here. And to let ourselves be human in it too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I really like that. Allow yourself to move beyond the uncomfortable, lean into it, live it. Well, I have so loved this time with you. Your sharing of your experience and your expertise. I have a few more questions that just require one-word answers that I throw out to get to know you a little bit better.
Of course.
And our listeners to get to know you a little better. Tell us your favorite book.
Oh gosh, I read a lot of like trauma books, but one book that I love, it's fiction. It's called Midnight Libraries. And the reason that I love it is because I can tell the author gets mental illness. So it's a fictional book, but it's so beautifully written about human experience. And
I'll have to jot that down.
Yeah,
Thank
Midnight
you.
Libraries. I think the author's last name is Haig, something Matthew Haig. I'm not sure, but it's a really good one.
Okay. Would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
I mean, I've heard we're all actually ambiverts, but I'm definitely spectrum-wise, definitely more on the extrovert side of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Ambivert. Is that what you said? I love it. Do you have a favorite artist?
Like music or?
You pick.
I mean, oh gosh. I like Taylor Swift. I'm going to her concert next in France next year. I haven't even told my kids, but we got tickets for family. So yeah, she's a pretty powerful like female.
Yes, she is.
Genius. I think she's a genius. And anyway, so
that's exciting. I'm jealous of that. That'll be a fun night. Are you a night owl or a morning lark?
Naturally night owl, but now my kids' school schedule's on, so I'm working on
switching that around. Yeah, I feel that. Do you have a celebrity crush?
Who do I just adore? Celebrity. I like Meg Ryan. I like I'm trying to think. I don't know if crush is the right word, but I love movies with Meg Ryan. I love Steve Carell in movies. I like Ryan Gosling in movies. Matthew McConaughey.
Sweet.
I'm trying to think what women I love. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Do you do still or carbonated water, or are you a diet soda fan?
I do still water for sure, even though carbonated is a very European thing. I haven't jumped on that bandwagon yet.
It is very European. Yes. And the furthest place that you have traveled, you've probably been everywhere.
Probably Asia, Southeast Asia. This summer I met my husband.
Thailand? Okay.
Yeah, in Thailand.
Sweet. Well, so wonderful. Please share with our listeners where they can connect with you and any offers that you have for them.
Yeah. So if I have a few offers, I have some kind of more online course programs for people, and like I have a Safe Awakenings program that's a little bit more of a course for people just learning how to kind of process and feel stuff that's happening with respect to their awakening. So it's called Safe Awakenings. I have another course like that for women healing from betrayal trauma. And then my more live offerings, I do a live trauma-informed coach certification for people who want to switch careers and start, all this stuff, all these problems that I've talked about, basically learning how to hold space and have contextual understanding of those problems while helping humans feel and process the emotions there. So I have a trauma certification for that. And then for people who are already coaches, who want to layer in a lot of this stuff, the contextual understanding of the stuff that we've talked about, I have an advanced relationship trauma certification as well.
And that's the one I'm doing.
Yes, that's the one that you're in, which I just love.
Yes,
so
it will change your world. You'll never be the same.
Well, and the people in there, you can tell they just love humans, and they care enough, and they take this healing work seriously enough that they want to learn this stuff so that they can really do everything they can to create these coaching environments, healing environments that are most conducive to safety, which is the foundation for healing. So it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's changed my world. I'm so grateful to learn that, contrary to what that therapist told you many years ago, trauma isn't a permanent thing. I mean, you may always have it there and have to be aware of it, but it doesn't need to rule your life. You can move on and enjoy life more fully, live life more fully, more big, just bigger. So,
of course. Absolutely. Yes. And if your partner's coping with porn, it's not the scarlet letter for your life. Like, you can have an amazing life and you can heal from that. And my husband and I are a testament to that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Lindsay, I love you. You're a beautiful person, amazing coach, dear friend. Thank you so much for being here today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Hopeful Spaces is a Dallas Hope Charities component of Hopeful Discussions, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA. It's a free monthly parent, ally, or caregiver support group facilitated by Megan Skidmore Coaching. Email chc@dallashopecharities.org for more info. Beginning October 5th, the Dallas Hope Charities Collective Hope Coalition will be hosting their first ever book club and wrap up in November in honor of Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, November 13th through the 18th. We'll be discussing Dr. Brandon Andrew Robinson's book, Coming Out to the Streets, and how the book ties in to the Dallas Hope Charities fight to end hopelessness. If you would like more information, please send an email to chc@dallashopecharities.org. Books can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, UC Press, or through used bookstores. If cost is a barrier, please reach out for alternative. I am a proud member of the Dialogue Podcast Network. The Dialogue Podcast Network features shows by Latter-day Saints who wish to bring their faith into dialogue with the larger stream of world religious thought and with human experience as a whole, and to foster artistic and scholarly achievement based on their cultural heritage. For more information, go to dialoguejournal.com/podcasts. Visit meganskidmorecoaching.com to find this podcast and additional free resources, including the link for a complimentary coaching session. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram for more, or to send me a DM. Help the podcast grow. Please follow, review, and share with a friend.